Hello, everyone, and welcome to my webinar today on the three culprits that sabotage weight loss and how to avoid them. I'm super excited to have all of you here with me, and I want to thank you all for taking the time to do so. Whether you're here and need to lose weight or not, you're going to have great information coming your way. But to begin, I want you to consider something. Have you ever felt trapped in your own body? Like, despite all the efforts of eating right or moving, and yet your scale just does not budge in the direction that you want it to anyway. We've all been there. I feel like we've all felt very imprisoned by our own bodies and battling a war that seems to never end. It is a constant battle. But what if I were to tell you that this war that you're fighting is not only at the surface with diet and exercise, but it's also hidden deep within your body? And today I want to reveal some of the reasons for that and how the weight loss efforts can be supported and we can avoid those. So, we're going to cover these three culprits on the weight loss journey, but I'm not just going to stop there. I'm going to help equip you all with some actionable strategies to finally take control of your health and these obstacles. So, together, we're going to shift away from the narrative of the perpetual struggle and help you to all understand and empower you to take control of those. So, and if you stay with me to the end, I'm going to show you how we can move past these three reasons and finally get your gut right. So, are you ready to unmask these culprits and reclaim your health? If so, let's dive into my webinar. So, before we start, to get the most out of this class, please silence your phones. It's super distracting when phones are binging and people are trying to pay attention to what I'm saying. Secondly, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat so I can answer those at the end. And then if you stick with me to the end, there is a way around these challenges that you might be experiencing that you may not have thought possible. So I'm excited to share that with you. So here we go. The three culprits that sabotage weight loss. So number one is we are going to expose the hidden lies that contribute to massive weight gain. Number two, we're going to see the impact of microscopic misfits that stack on extra pounds unless you know how to stop them. And then last but not least, we're going to discover the hormonal connection of weight, the weight gain that you can easily control. But first of all, I want to tell you a little bit about my story. I had every intention of becoming a medical doctor, but I was blindsided with the practice of dispensing medication to cover up symptoms. And I saw a lot of this when I was working in Western medicine for many years. I was, however, introduced to holistic medicine at a very young age in efforts to save my little sister's life. So I have two little sisters. Both were born prematurely. One was born at 1 pound 4 ounces, and the other one at 1 pound 12 ounces. Needless to say, my little sister that weighed 1 pound 4 ounces only lived 1 week. And so technology just wasn't there at the time to help save her life, being so small. And my little sister that's currently with us today, I was 10 years old when she was born at 1 pound 12 ounces. And we spent 3.5 months in Primary Children's Hospital, where I learned literally how to take care of a neonatal baby. And when I was there, I had to learn how to do CPR on such a small human being. I had to know what all the heart monitors were and lung monitors and what they meant and what to do if they were going off. So what happened was I did all of that, and I did it in efforts, of course, to save my sister. But when she was 5 years old, she started having seizures, and Western medicine did not have an answer for her. My parents were left empty-handed, and they had this little girl that we have all fought so hard for. And so they stepped outside of the traditional box and started seeing a naturopath. And at that time, it was very much outside of the box. It was almost kind of Well, it was kind of woo-woo at the time. People just didn't understand it. Fast forward many years, obviously, that it has come full circle. But that is where I was introduced to holistic medicine because my mom changed my sister's diet. My mom changed some lifestyle actions within our family. And with that, my sister pulled out of her seizure. She actually has never had another seizure. So let's just say that I would rather be building that fence at the edge of a cliff than the emergency responder waiting at the bottom. I love holistic medicine and about prevention. I saw it firsthand. But for myself, around that same time that this was going on, I started seeing the naturopath as well because I had these low grade infections that would not go away. And I would see doctor after doctor, and they would put me on medication after medication. And if you know this, you may or may not, but for one round of antibiotics, it destroys the integrity, the permeability of the gut for a year. So you could imagine I was on antibiotics time after time after time from these low-grade infections, which created many downstream effects for me that I was left at trying to rebuild. So sitting here seeing doctor after doctor and getting nowhere is how I felt. And I know that some of you can relate to that. So until finally, I took matters into my own hands to find the culprit of what my low-grade infections were from and how to stop those. It did take me years of research, a lot of continuing education and clinical research. Seeing clients one-on-one in my practice. And then I did open and own my own functional wellness center and became a doctor of naturopath to discover how to truly fix what was going on in my gut. Remember, years of antibiotics destroyed the integrity of it. So I was left with bloat, constipation, brain fog, chronic fatigue. I mean, the list went on and on and on, and my immune system just kept dropping, and I would get sick, and I didn't understand why my body wouldn't detox and why I had this toxic burden going on, and then why was I battling my weight all the time? So I am committed to giving you sustainable solutions for optimal gut health because I've been there and I've done that. But that is enough about me. Today is all about you, and I want you to get results. Just like one of my friends here. She's one of my clients. Her name is Chloe. And Chloe came to me after seeing multiple doctors with the same type of situation, with no relief from her unpleasant bloating and heartburn. And after sitting down with me and letting me listen to her and understand her story, her current symptoms, and I did some additional testing with her, I was able to understand what was disrupting her digestive process. So I recommended a specific protocol for her. And needless to say, she's doing awesome. She said, I have not felt this good about my body, my health, and my overall well-being since I can remember. So I love stories like this. So let's get back to the 3 culprits that sabotage weight loss. Number 1, expose the hidden lies. 2 is see the impact of these misfits. And 3 is discover that hormonal connection. So here we go. The hidden lie of refined sugar. Did you all guess this? This is the first exposure to the culprits. For decades, many of us have been innocently living under the assumption that sugar is simply a harmless treat at the end of the day, or the unnecessary component of celebratory moments. I mean, we love it. But this belief is a little bit of a lie because they all say that a little bit won't hurt anyone. But the reality is it's a misconception because sugar is not just simple. It creates so many cycles, and we're going to see those in just a minute. It impacts our health, it impacts our waistline, and it impacts our overall wellness. And the taste of sugar brings on temporary happiness. It's that dopamine response. It masks the bitter truth about the impact that it has on our bodies. So it overshadows the long-term consequences that happen with our health. So let's uncover this lie together and learn about refined sugar and how it is deceptive and what we can do about it. So let's start with all of the nicknames. I mean, we all have nicknames, right? But I mean, sugar, look at all of those nicknames. Um, I'm not saying that all sugar is bad. Like I see on here, there's maple syrup, there's honey. In small amounts, they're fine. But it's when you start to compound them and they become refined sugars that are added to everything. And when you start to add up these sugars that are that are on our labels, they become overwhelmingly high with grams of sugars that you're taking in per day. Like it's truly scary. So let's learn a little bit about this perpetual cycle that happens. You eat the sugar. Let's start there because we love it, but it does have addictive properties to it. So what happens is when we eat that sugar, our blood sugar spikes. Dopamine is released in the brain, and it's an addictive release. And then insulin is secreted to drop those glucose levels. So here you're eating sugar, you spike the sugar, insulin comes in, drops that sugar level down. So because of those high insulin levels, it causes immediate fat storage, which then creates our body to crave that loss of sugar. And we go into this hunger and craving zone where our blood sugar becomes low because our body has just dispersed it into our fat cells. And it causes that increase of appetite and craving to happen. And then this cycle repeats. So again, that perpetual cycle, typically a 2-hour window. So if you have something, let's just say, we tend to, let's just say pancakes early in the morning with the maple syrup on them, right? With nothing else. And I guarantee you 2 hours later, you're going to see this perpetual cycle happen. Your blood sugar is going to spike. Your insulin comes in to save the day. It drops your blood sugar down. Your body goes into low blood sugar levels. You do get hangry too sometimes. You get hungry and you get the craving. So you eat some more sugar or you eat something else. So what is the impact of too much sugar? This is quite interesting. I mean, this first one here is sugar assaults our immune system for up to 5 hours, which allows for other chronic illnesses or infections to pop in there. So what it's doing is it suppresses the white blood cells. So you take it, suppresses white blood cells, can get sick. The second thing is the hypoglycemia. We just talked about that. That's when your blood sugar drops. So if you get hangry or feel like, you get a little shaky even, you can think of this as a roller coaster. And a roller coaster ride, you get the highs and then you get the lows, and then you get the highs and you get the lows, and you get the shakes in between. And it's part of that hypoglycemia aspect. But then as your sugar consumption desensitizes your body's insulin receptors, it reduces the cell's capacity to extract energy from your food and paving the way to diabetes. So some people you see numbers that are pre-diabetic and people are watching their blood sugars, and that is why. But then what happens is depression. The sugar disrupts the brain's serotonin levels. Remember, there's that dopamine spike. So it's disrupting the serotonin levels, which are our happy hormones. And it results in a very depressive effect. And unfortunately, sugar is more addictive than cocaine. And so repeating this vicious cycle of craving and emotional turmoil is a big problem. And then that last piece is because sugar triggers from the insulin release, it promotes fat storage. So over time, this happens. It's not just about calories in and calories out. It's an active player of weight gain. And I always say you cannot outrun your fork. And this is why, because of these perpetual cycles. Our body is this amazing machine. But when we feed it food or not so much food, right? Refined sugar is not considered food. That fat storage can increase. So women, we get this low belly bloat, this low belly fat that just won't go away. It's super, super frustrating. So what have you tried, right? Those extreme restrictions of dieting. But what happens is when you get these extreme restrictions of dieting, it often leads to malnourishment because you're not getting all of the support and nutrients that you need. So, um, there's a lot of fad diets out there, and I'm not dismissing fad diets, but I am saying that diets need to be sustainable, and fad diets are not sustainable. There are some other, some of the type of diets out there are vegetarian, vegan, raw, paleo, Atkins, Whole 30, keto, low sugar, no sugar, low carb, Mediterranean. I mean, there's so many out there. But what if I said, what if we just simply, unless you know you have allergens, what if we simply just took out the refined sugar? What would happen? So let's just talk about that. Navigating a healthier sweet tooth. What can we do about it? There are a couple of things. There's these sugar swaps, like raw sugar to honey, or you can take raw sugar to agave, or even to dates. Dates are a great option for getting a little bit of that sweet tooth in there without too much of that refined sugar. The secondly of all is to read labels. People like labels. I'm going to show you in a second what a label looks like. And it's, I want you to start looking at that because I think that it's going to be very eye-opening for you. And you're going to have some aha moments of, oh my gosh, I thought this was healthy. And wow, they've added 22 extra grams of sugar in it to make it even healthier, not healthier. And I also want you to plan and prep for snacks, cooking at home. I like hummus and carrots, almonds, green apple with some peanut butter or some almond butter. And I also want you to be very mindful about condiments. Condiments, especially ketchup. Go grab your ketchup bottle and take a look at the back of that. Let's look at this label here. So we have this original label and we have a new label. So these new labels are designed to add in these added sugars. So you'll see there halfway down under total sugars of 12 grams, you're going to see includes 10 grams of added sugar. That's insane. Watch for that because that means that you're getting 10 grams of added sugar that doesn't actually need to be in there. And this is what's driving up those scales. All right, so on to the second exposure. The second exposure of the culprits of weight loss are microbial misfits. If I were to tell you that trillions of organisms are living with your body at this very moment, you might be surprised, but perhaps even alarmed. That's a lot of organisms. Yet, this astounding reality is that your gut is that place where they love to go, right? It's their home. So it's a diverse ecosystem of bacteria, viruses, parasites, fungus. Have you ever heard of SIBO or SIFO, small intestinal bacteria overgrowth, or small intestinal fungal overgrowth? And when these microscopic misfits play a crucial role in our overall health, they block us from absorbing nutrients and they also dampen our immune system. So they're not all misfits, but some of them cause more harm than they do good. But when they're balanced, they can help to support our body in a great state of health. But when they're out of balance, it's called dysbiosis. So if any of you have heard that, you don't need to remember that, but it's just an imbalance of bacteria going on in the gut. And when this imbalance happens, it includes a lot of health issues such as weight gain, low energy, bloating, brain fog, all the challenges that you might be facing in a day. But knowledge is power. And with this knowledge about your own body, we're going to help you equip you with what to do about this. So let's learn what to do about these misfits. But first, what have you tried? So most of us have tried, I call it the biotic cure-all, because my goodness, whether it's a probiotic, a prebiotic, antibiotic, or a food probiotic, it's certainly got to heal it, right? Not so much. You probably tried these. The probiotics are more about that weeding out the bad bacterias, but there are a million different strains out there. Don't quote me at that number, but I'm saying there's a lot of strains out there. And for instance, if you go over to that yogurt, you've got an acidophilus strain in that yogurt. That's one of trillions of different bacteria strains. So, you know, when you look at your probiotic bottle, you're going to see some that are just regular probiotics, and you're going to see some that are probiotics um, that are spore based. And those spore based ones can get through the integrity of the gut into the colon, where most of our bacteria is taking hold. So, whether you're dealing with constipation or diarrhea or bloating, what type of probiotics do you need? Then there's the prebiotics that do feed the good bacteria, but is it enough? Sometimes we need a combination of the probiotics first before we do the prebiotics, and sometimes we need the prebiotics before the probiotics. There's a typically order to all this. And then again, those antibiotics, we talked about that a little bit earlier, but antibiotics, they kill everything. They kill the good, the bad, the evil, the ugly, the beautiful, all the things. And then what we're left with is an imbalance of intestinal permeability. We're left with nothing. We're left with our immune system being compromised. And again, we talked about that. One round of antibiotics can destroy the integrity of the gut for a year. Probiotics are great. I love kefir, sauerkraut, yogurts, but again, it's sometimes just not enough to really balance out our gut and have it take place as we need it to. So, on our journey into this world of microbial misfits, it doesn't just stop with understanding of the role that they have on us, but we need to identify the players. We need to identify what is imbalancing our internal ecosystem. And to do this, we need to rely on advanced testing to provide comprehensive and reliable results. And we need to get to the bottom of what those are. So we can do stool testing, which is really, we call it gut microbe mapping, because we're mapping out what players are there and which ones are playing the hardest to get, or which ones are taking over. And then there's also, we can do it through conventional blood work. And I love conventional blood work because it does allow for us to look at ranges and different markers to look to see if there is some leaky gut. So the intestinal permeability, it does look to see if our body is dealing with a low grade bacterial infection or viral infection or parasites. And that is just conventional lab work that you get from your doctor. And, oftentimes the doctor will hand it to you and say, everything looks fine. But when you can look at it from a functional standpoint, you're going to notice that, wow, your body's actually telling you a lot of things. So based on these two different types of testing, and there's other testing out there as well, but functional testing is key to really diving in on finding what those key components are as far as those microbial misfits. And then we have
but
to
it's super
identify
important
the
for us to do a
protocol to
step-by-step
use with those,
protocol.
because
So number one,
we
you
have to understand
got to
what
identify
pathogen
the
we're dealing
pathogen
with.
that you're dealing with.
And when we do
Because
that,
if you don't know the pathogen you're dealing
once
with,
we go in
how are you
and
supposed to get to
deal
that root
with
cause?
destroying
Because
those
if you stop
pathogens,
halfway
the
through,
problem is we actually need to do that in the
then
correct order.
you're actually
Because
not
if you
getting to
do
the root
it
cause. The second thing is you want to
out
destroy
of
that
order,
pathogen in the correct order.
it doesn't kill off
So the
some of the
tricky
ones.
thing
So for
is the
instance,
pathogens need to be
a
destroyed
viral
in a
load and a
specific
bacterial
order
load. You're going to
because
want to
they
address the
actually
viral load
feed
first
upon each
before you
other.
address the
So
bacterial
if you
load. But how do
have
you
a
know if you have a
virus and a
viral load
bacteria,
that's
you
causing
always want to go for the
your
viral
body
load
to
first and then
be
the bacterial load. And
uninformed
step
of what's
3 is
going
going to
on?
be
Because it's
replenishing the
got
good
this
guys. Because
low grade
once
something
you
hanging out
get
in the
rid of and
background, right?
destroy
So we need to
pathogens,
go in
you're
and identify,
typically
then we
going
need
to
to
be
destroy,
destroying a
and then
lot
we
of
need to
bacteria
replenish
with
the good
them,
guys
the good
back.
guys. So you want to replenish those good guys. So
Because if we
again,
don't,
identify,
our immune
destroy,
system is going to
replenish,
continue
which
to be
is going to give
compromised,
you
and we do
optimal
not
gut
want
health.
to have leaky gut. So the step-by-step protocol helps
Okay, but it's
for
super
that
important for us to do a
optimal gut
step-by-step protocol.
solution.
So number one, you've got to identify.
And then the third and final culprit that we want to talk about today is truly about that cortisol chaos. So cortisol is known as a stress hormone, and it plays a huge component in our bodies. It can be a superhero or it can be a villain. It plays various roles in our metabolism. It helps with reducing inflammation and even helps our brain function better. But when we get too much stress, just like a faithful soldier, cortisol steps in during the day of physical and emotional stress to take over, preparing our bodies to respond efficiently. But when this keeps happening, so we're under constant stress, whether it's work or home, um, emotional, it really truly doesn't matter. But even based on this modern fast-paced world, stress has become so consistent that it's keeping us in a chronic state of stress. So even though our brain sometimes um, we think that we're fine, and we are to a degree, but internally our body doesn't understand that we are not being chased by a tiger at all times. So what this does is that cortisol that comes in to help support us truly turns into a double agent, and it starts to wreak havoc from within. And this can lead to weight gain, specifically around the abdomen. It disrupts our sleep cycles, it disrupts our mood, and so many other things. And oftentimes we find ourselves in the kitchen searching for something because we're trying to emotionally support our internal stress that we don't even make that connection to. So, understanding cortisol and how to manage it is a true game changer. So, I want to dive into maybe what you have tried that you think that is there to help with combating your cortisol chaos. What most of us do when we need to calm ourselves is we tend to push harder because we think that the solution lies in pushing harder, exercising more, and restricting calories. But what happens again is we're left with, just like we talked about in the first section, we're left with malnourishment, or we're not getting enough support, and so it creates actually even this bigger stress on our body. And then we tend to push 24/7. What's happening is in the afternoon around 3 o'clock, we tend to hit the wall. Our insulin spikes, our glucose spikes, our cortisol spikes, and we get a second wind. And then what happens is at 8 o'clock at night, when we're supposed to be going to bed or winding down at any rate for a 10 o'clock head on the pillow time, uh, we've hit that second wind, and now we're in a whole different cycle. So our circadian rhythm becomes off, and that also puts a lot of stress on our body. Um, let's see here. Some of the things that we can try that I love to calm the cortisol. Here's some things that do work. So, physical activity is a powerful tool. However, hitting the gym harder, even twice a day, is not. So, instead of punishing your body with intense, strenuous workouts that leave you feeling exhausted, what about doing some de stressing exercises like yoga or meditation, dancing, cycling, um, really activities that help lower your cortisol levels and boost your mood to improve your energy and weight loss. Getting outside, putting your feet on the ground. I call it forest bathing. And forest bathing is so powerful. It's so grounding, and it is going to calm that vagal nerve. It's going to create this calmness, this sense of relaxation around you. You know, you close your eyes, you get outside and close your eyes, and even just looking at the green outside is so phenomenal. Getting enough sleep. So good sleep is super, super important. And there's a couple things to help even with good sleep is, going outside first thing in the morning and putting your face towards the sun and just letting the sun, if you can keep your eyes open, not looking at the sun, but looking towards the bright light, that increases our melatonin levels. So at nighttime when we go to bed, it can really help readjust our circadian rhythms and help us get back into that deep sleep process. So focusing on creating a restful sleep environment is also about shutting your phones down at night, having some warm tea before bed, and trying to shut your brain off before going to bed. No TV either. And then practice relaxation techniques. I love just straight up deep breathing. I'm really happy with the 4-7-8, where you breathe in for a count of 4, you hold for 7, and decrease for 8. That's been incredible. And then, of course, my favorite is doing a little bit of self love, especially at nighttime for me. I love taking baths. I feel like nobody, well, people can distract me, but I don't have my cell phone. I actually bring a big glass of water in with me or some tea, and I just sit and relax and close my eyes and just kind of meditate a little bit. It's so powerful. I put some Epsom salt in my bath. I put some essential oils in my bath, and sometimes I even put some baking soda in my bath. And I want you to understand that embracing self love and treating yourself with kindness and compassion and respect is really about accepting yourself as you are right now and not when you lose the weight. Right? I want you to understand that this is something to just love on yourself. So, cultivating self love can reduce the emotional stress and thereby helping reduce and calm cortisol levels. All right, so having explored those 3 culprits that are sabotaging your weight loss efforts, um, these are insights that I've shared today, and they are just truly scratching the surface of a more profound understanding towards lasting health and wellness, especially when it comes to revitalizing your health through your gut. And this is where my Revitalized Gut program comes in, and I use what's called the Well Method. And this is a comprehensive 9-week program that is designed to help you revitalize your gut and reclaim your health. This isn't just about addressing symptoms. It's about going deeper and identifying root causes for fostering sustainable change, getting back to that ideal body weight, getting back to the healthy bowel habits, and getting back to a fortified immune system and boosting your energy. My proprietary Well Blend focuses on forming a foundation that takes place with a holistic and integrative approach. So it's about creating enlightenment, employment, and enacting upon those. So before we talk more about my upcoming program, though, I want to tell you a little bit about Marcy. So Marcy is someone near and dear to me. I have been working with her for quite some time. She came to me with this stubborn belly fat that just wouldn't go away. She had cycles of cravings of refined sugars, of carbohydrates, um, of really all the things. And she found herself doing a lot of restricted dieting and then binging on food that she felt comforted with because she was already frustrated and she had some low self-esteem going with that. She had tried every fad diet on the market. She would she would call me and say, "Oh my gosh, you'd be so proud of me. I went to the gym twice today," or "I went on a 5-mile run." And I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, no. Nope. Nope. We can't do that because your body's under so much stress as it is." And then she would find herself in the doctor's office because she knew something wasn't right and nobody could figure it out. They would just say, "Everything looks normal, go home and rest." And that's when I sat down with her and really had that talk about discovering what was really going on and finding out that it wasn't just one thing, but it was literally a web of interconnected imbalances that were happening. So we were able to discover the root causes. I was able to support her with some nutritious dietary changes. And these weren't diets for her. These were literally understanding those added sugars and cutting some of those things out and getting some nutritious food in her body. We did use some supplementation because we had to get rid of some of the low grade bacterial infections that were going on, that all of the sugar and food that she was grasping at were feeding those. So we did some supplementation there, and I had her make some lifestyle shifts. And what happened was I gave her her confidence in life back, which I love stories like this because um, I think it's super important to sit down and really hear what's going on with the person that's sitting in front of you, because they feel away and they need to be heard and they need to tell their story. Because oftentimes when they tell their story, you're going to hear what they need, what they actually need, because innately they know what they need. They just don't know how to figure it out in their own head, and they don't know how to find that solution for it. So that's where I
Sure.
come in.
So
So this
my
Revitalize Gut
gut, I
program,
have organized this
it
process
is something that I
that
aim
is
to
super
support my
cost
clients with
effective.
every single day.
It's called the
And I
Revitalize
help to
Gut,
enrich them with a
and
better
it's the
understanding of their
same
own body
content
and
that I
give them
use on my
sustainable
one-on-one
solutions
patients all the
for what
time.
is going on
Sure.
and how to support them.
So my gut.
What is my why behind this program? Well, um, I love seeing clients one on one, but my schedule is fully booked. So I am committed to offering this as a group program with live support and creating a place for connection for women, because I think it's so important when you have other people that are feeling the same way you are or dealing with the same struggles you are. Having that support system is so powerful. And really, the only way I can figure out how to have that support system in a sustainable way is to create group offerings. So, and then when I do see my clients, I do get messages like this all the time, and it makes me back to understanding holistic health and medicine and looking at the body as a full picture. It makes me want to just get up every morning and do it. Like, there's not a day that I don't get up and want to come to work. I love what I do. So with my Revitalize Gut program, we just talked about that access to private Facebook community, where you have like-minded people, women like yourself. But with it, the biggest thing is the 9 live sessions that are going to come with this, which means that within this 9-week comprehensive program, you're going to have weekly on-demand trainings that you're going to have for life. But each week, I'm going to pop on and I'm going to answer questions in real time for all of you. So I'm going to do it for each and every one of those 9 weeks, and I'm really excited to do that because, again, it's a chance to get that one-on-one time with me that you may not be able to get in my day to day because I don't have any availability. And then there's going to be some exclusive resources in there that no one else gets. And if, and then because I am so compassionate and so I do fully believe in doing a supplement bundle, it's going to be complimentary, because if you take my program on week number 4, we're going to really dive into the microbial misfits. And I'm going to be giving you guys real strategies and real protocols during that time of how to get your health back on track. But I do believe wholeheartedly that you have to have support in your body prior to that. So I'm going to gift all of you the supplement bundle that's going to give your body the energy and the support it needs, so that when we get to that module, you are ready for tackling these microbials. Um, there are a couple bonuses within my Revitalize Gut program. Number 1 is a 30-minute guidance call with me. And the reason why I did this is because I love when I take a program, I love to have the chance to be able to ask specific questions and get in in real time answers personalized to me. And so I want that gift for you as well. I think it's important, and it's a super great value. In addition to that, we did talk a little bit about supplementations. And when I talked about destroying microbial misfits, sometimes we have to do it through supplementation. So I wanted to make sure that during my program and a limited time after, you have access to my online dispensary program or online dispensary account that has exclusive codes for you. And these are exclusive because when you get high quality supplementation, we're looking at quality over quantity, and we're looking at top tier professional grade supplements. And when we do that, they can become a little bit more, they can become expensive. And some people are on already taking supplements, and I'm not opposed to them taking supplements, but I want to make sure that if you're going to do this program, let's do it right. So there is quality assurance in this program that I use, and you'll have these money saving discounts at your fingertips. And then thirdly, the third bonus here is a flexible time saving meal plan. And the reason why I'm putting this in here is because there's a lot of information going on at one time, and I don't want you to have to worry about what's for dinner. I don't want you to have to worry about strict diets. I want you to have meals at your fingertips if you choose to use them. And you can use them for future as well. And you might find the ones that you absolutely love, and then you can continue to keep using those. So while there is an upfront cost to investing in yourself, I want you to notice that there is a this instead of that on the screen. Because I do believe it's super important that we focus on optimal health. And we need to do this instead of focusing on the symptom suppression. Because when we're just using a Band-Aid, when we take that Band-Aid off, so I say it like this in my clinic all the time. Are you just mowing the lawn, or are you actually getting the weeds out of the lawn? So if you're just mowing the lawn, the second you stop mowing the lawn, those weeds and grass are going to outgrow. That is where we have the symptom suppression going on. So if you take action now instead of later, you're going to find that there won't be as many things to be pulling out of the lawn, right? So there won't be as many dandelions and clovers, and the lawn won't be as grow as fast and all the things. But there are some financial implications to that. And while there's an upfront cost to this program, it's a potential cost savings as you make this gain toward yourself, because it's an investment, but you're worth it. And if you don't do it, there could be costs of copays, deductibles, and of course, ineffective supplements. So talking about that ambulance at the end, at the bottom of the hill. I also want you to feel confident and energized, because who doesn't deserve that? Like, we got to run around with our littles and our grandkids and our kids and our spouses and our friends and all the things, instead of feeling frustrated with low self-esteem and embarrassed by how we feel, or just really kind of hiding from our friends. So right now, you might be feeling frustrated. I love this diagram because you need to create the future that you want. So here you have the present of now. You have three choices. You can go the green line up to optimal, which is taking my program. You can do the gray line, which is get to the future, which is what you've been doing now that may not be working in the future. If you're doing something and it hasn't supported you yet, it's most likely not going to support you. And then we also have that red line there, which is if you don't do anything now, what happens if you don't do anything and all of a sudden other symptomologies creep up and you feel terrible, and then you end up struggling to really feel like how do you get your health back on track? So, um, I do believe that looking at what is optimally for us in the future is going to set us up for being able to heal, be happy, and love, and live our life to the extent that we want it to, instead of feeling terrible in 3 years from now and then being like, okay, now what do I do? Now I guess I better take, that course, or I wish I would have taken that course, or, all the things. And I do have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. So by the end of the 30 days, if you don't feel 100% confident in the progress that you're making, simply email me and I will refund everything in full, minus the complimentary supplements that I talked about, that I will be giving you at the beginning of the program. But otherwise, no questions asked. So I love this quote: nurture your gut because it holds the key to vitality. And it's so true. Our gut is the key. So my Revitalized Gut program is going to provide you with personalized, in-depth guidance through 9 different modules that are going to help support you and give you resources to navigate your unique health journey. And through my Well method, it's not just about losing weight, but enriching you and empowering you with the information that you need to have an energized and revitalized life that enriches your entire well-being through the revitalized gut. So through really supporting your gut health and looking at multiple different ways and different aspects of lifestyle and nutritious food and all of the things. So, if you're ready to dive in and go deeper, to get beyond just the surface and embark into this journey with me, the revitalized gut is what you need. But please remember that your health is not just a destination, but the journey. And so, with the right guidance and the right tools, this journey is going to be fun. You're going to be well equipped, and you're going to have me there each week for 9 weeks to ask me those personalized questions and get real time answers. So, I'm really excited. I hope you all join me in this program. And if you want to go to therevitalizedgut.com to get on my early interest wait list, so it's my VIP wait list, which means that as soon as I am ready to launch, you will be the first to know and you will have access before it fills up because I'm only taking a small number of clients with this first round because it's going to be an exclusive launch and I am going to be on live and I want to make sure that everybody gets exactly what they need. So I might not be doing it again live. My next one may be evergreen. So if you want this opportunity, it is at your fingertips right now. So please join me. See you all soon. So thank you. And let's resolve digestive distress and reclaim your health once and for all. So again, go secure your spot now at therevitalizedgut.com. And I will see you all later. Bye.